Teen rom-com The Kissing Booth 3 made its Netflix debut earlier this month, with Joey King reprising her role as Elle Evans, the recently graduated high school student torn between going to Berkeley with her best friend or Harvard with her boyfriend. Being the third film in the Netflix trilogy, The Kissing Booth 3 seemed to wrap the franchise up quite nicely, giving fans an answer to the question of whether Elle and Noah actually end up together. However, many viewers will undoubtedly be holding out hope for yet another sequel. And judging by Joey King's recent quotes in the New York Times, there's a chance it might just happen. Before the start of the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content, subscribe to Bobuya channel. Let's get started. While she admitted that it would be a little hard to come back for a fourth film after The Kissing Booth 3 tied up a lot of loose ends, she said that she's never tired of playing Elle. "Selfishly, do I want to play Elle again? Absolutely," she said. Will there be a Kissing Booth 4? While fans are undoubtedly hoping that we haven't seen the last of Elle, Joey King, and Noah, Jacob Elordi, it looks as though The Kissing Booth 3 was the final installment in the teen rom-com franchise. The films are based on Beth Reekle's books of the same name, with the final book in the series being The Kissing Booth 3 One Last Time, the source material for the latest film. Unfortunately, Reekle's hinted this week that there won't be any more books in the franchise, writing in her blog, "When I watched the third movie for the first time a couple of weeks ago, I sobbed my heart out. I felt like I was grieving, and I was." This was all 10 years in the making. 10 years of Elle and Lee and Noah, and now it's all come to an end. It's the final chapter in their story. It's the end of an era. As Reekles doesn't plan on writing any other books in the Kissing Booth series, it's unlikely that Netflix will develop another sequel, especially since the end of the third film jumped forward by 6 years into the future. In an interview with Vanity Fair last year, Jacob Elordi said of the third film, "This is really the last kiss," which implies pretty heavily that The Kissing Booth 3 is the last installment. That being said, the film ended on an ambiguous note, with Elle and Noah bumping into one another at their old school fair and promising to spend time with each other when they're both back in town. Joey King even said herself in an interview with Entertainment Tonight that there's still a lot to be resolved in Elle's life. Elle has a lot of figuring out to do. In the end, she gives herself even more figuring out to do, which is crazy. "We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why she does that," she said. "Things change, things happen, and I don't know where their story will take them." Although that being said, King did later say in an interview with the New York Times that the end of The Kissing Booth 3 was wrapped up so nicely that returning for another film would be a little hard. "I started these movies when I was 17. We were just like, we hope people like it, if anyone even sees it. Little did we know what a big impact this would have. I've never tired of playing Elle. It's so fun. Watching this story be wrapped up so nicely in like a beautiful bow, I think it would be a little hard to come back after that. We made this ending exactly what I think it needed to be. Selfishly, do I want to play Elle again? Absolutely. But I think that the story is on its final chapter." If Netflix were to make a Kissing Booth 4, it could center around Rachel and Lee's upcoming wedding and follow Noah and Elle as they reunite. But we're not holding out hope. What happened in The Kissing Booth 3? It's summer break and Elle is trying to enjoy herself, but a big decision looms over her. Does she keep her promise to Lee and follow him to Berkeley, or go to Harvard with Noah? Elle struggles to juggle the demands of everyone around her, ticking items off their beach bucket list with Lee, spending time with Noah, and waitressing. Oh, and the previous flame Marco comes back into the scene and almost causes a rift between Elle and Noah. They make up, but then Noah finds her Berkeley acceptance letter and, worrying that she's only going to Harvard to make him happy, he breaks up with her. Is the Kissing Booth trilogy based on books? Yes. The first book in the Kissing Booth trilogy was written in 2011 by Beth Reekles, when she was just 15 years old and studying for her GSCEs. "I wanted a regular high school romance where the guy best friend wasn't a love interest," she explained. "And when I couldn't find that story to read, I wrote it. That's how The Kissing Booth was born." Beth published the book on Wattpad. The response was massive. It racked in 20 million views, and by the time Beth was 17 years old, the book was published by Penguin Random House. She signed over the movie rights a few months later and got to work on the second and third books. Beth has no plans to write any more books in the series and says the third movie will be the last two. So what can viewers expect from this movie? Beware, there's spoilers ahead. The Kissing Booth release date. As far as we know, The Kissing Booth isn't returning for a fourth film. But if it were, then we would have quite a while to wait for its release. The Kissing Booth 2 and 3 were filmed back-to-back in South Africa in 2019, which meant that the two films were released just a year apart from each other. Since there currently isn't a story to work off of or plans for production to go ahead at some point, the earliest The Kissing Booth 4 would arrive on Netflix is 2023. What would happen in The Kissing Booth 4? If The Kissing Booth were to return for a fourth film, there's a lot it could explore. At the end of The Kissing Booth 3, we found out that Lee and Rachel did in fact find each other after finishing university and got engaged. So a fourth film could take place in the run-up after their wedding. While Elle and Noah had split up in the most recent film, in the flash forward we saw there was definitely still a spark there. So The Kissing Booth 4 could follow the pair as they grow close once again. And maybe Marco will reappear to throw a spanner in the works. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to Bobuya channel, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.